everybody, and thank you for joining us right here on the Mike Lee Show, powered by Sister to Sister 2.0, Capital Public Relations, Octech, and Turk Entertainment Group. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with the legendary Mr. Fred Hammond, someone who I've been listening to for quite some time, who's inspired me. Your music has brought not just me, I'm probably speaking for so many people, but it has brought us through so many great good times and even bad times. I want to thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How you feel?
I'm doing great, man. First of all, everybody make sure that you tune in. This it's going to be tomorrow. It is the 2021 inaugural gospel celebration. We want you guys to go purchase tickets at the 2021igc.org. Make sure you go get tickets for that. It's premiering tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's a special event for a special time with some special people performing. Invited guest is also President-elect Joseph Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. So we're glad to be a part of that. Let's get right into this interview, man. What does it all mean when you think about your career and what you'll be doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, to me, is from a spiritual standpoint, it's more than just a performance. It's what you're performing for and what you've been called on to do tomorrow. A lot of times, you'll get someone that'll put you on the bill, but it's really God putting you in place to do something spectacular tomorrow. What does this all mean to you, Fred?
It's very special. The meaning to be invited on something like this is amazingly special to me. I almost wasn't able to do it because of the timing of other things that I had going on, but I'm glad we can make the time and be a part of history. Plus, you always want to be able to tell your grandkids down the road, hey, Pops was a part of that, right there. When this happened, I was there, and here's something, that you can see that we were part of history being made with Vice President Harris being the first Black female of color elected to the White House, and we're cheering her on. She's a very special lady. And, then this whole thing with how many people came out to vote to say we need change in a major way, and that the Black community showed up, dog. They showed up.
Well, this is on my list to talk to you about. How do you celebrate someone like Stacey Adams, who was at the forefront of all of this, man? What do you have to say? What do you have to say to her?
Miss Stacey is amazingly special. She has that drive. She has that that energy to get out and make sure there was change. There was change needed to be made, and she could have threw in the towel or called it in. Say, well, I didn't get elected my time, so forget it. I'll wait until it's just about me. But she wasn't about her. It was about us, and she took that thing on. That's a powerful Black woman, and that's just amazing to me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to talk a little bit more about what this all means, because we've had so much going on. Just the other day, we had all of the stuff that was going on here in D.C. We've got thank God for Stacey Adams, we have a new president. Black people did show up to vote, and I'm so thankful for that. With
I think
Kamala
that's
coming,
I
yeah,
think that's
because
April.
Amen. I'm telling you, man, I'm getting a T-shirt, brother, because it was really about her movement. She'll
Yeah.
go down. She'll go down in history for this. From a spiritual standpoint, man, what is God? What do you feel sometimes when you're in your spiritual place? You're a writer. You're who I think are the true ministers out there, because you're writing songs. We hear your music. Your music heals us, sometimes gets us from point A to point B. What do you feel in the trenches that God is saying to the world, to us?
It's something Jesse Jackson said a long time ago. Keep hope alive. You
Mm,
know, because God is still in control. Um, Nothing goes on without Him knowing. And sometimes the enemy tries to come in and mess things up. But at the end of the day, you know, God is still in control. One thing I love about this is truth. Truth um, played a major part in that God, that we can still count on truth, that lying gets you nowhere. It may get you a little bit in front here. You may knock somebody off there, but the fact that truth won over lying,
Mm-hmm.
that really helped me. That gave me a lot of encouragement, man, because I was seeing, just constant, and we're still seeing it, but we're still seeing, I mean, constant just lying, and it seemed like it was winning, but the Bible says, it said, man, my foot almost slipped when I saw the prosperity of the wicked in the land of the living, and but the Lord is in the end is going to let truth be the thing that set us all free. And that made me feel great.
That's great, man. When you starting out, were you brought up in the church?
Basically, I was brought up in the church. My mother was she was a pianist and a choir teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So she went from different churches to churches, teaching choirs and stuff like that, directing choirs. But for a while we didn't go. When I was in my early days,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up till I was probably about 11,
Mm-hmm.
that we really didn't rock with church that much.
Mm-hmm.
She knew about it, but at the end of the day, she had kind of strayed away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And right at 11, she said, "We're gonna start going back, to church and getting it together." And so from there on, but I always had some sort of relationship with God. Even when I was younger, something always called to me. I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was this big old dude in the sky with big muscles and a big old long white beard, and
Right,
a
right, right.
lightning bolt waiting to strike you down.
Robe on. Yeah, right, right.
Just, if you did bad and reward you if you did good. And I
Yeah.
had no clue of what it was. And then when she decided we were going back to church, and she ministered to me and told me about who Jesus really was, and that's kind of when I jumped on board. I had a heart for it from that point on. But
Mhm.
I'm glad I had both sides. We were raised in the hood and in the church.
Praise God.
So I'm not just a church
Right, right.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my family. A lot of them they're not saved even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have gotten saved,
Mm-hmm.
but I've allowed to be experienced and love them from where they are, and pray for them from where they are. And so that gives me a good balance. I love balance. I don't like to be, you know, just one way or the other. I love loving people from a balanced place.
Mm-hmm. You've had an incredible journey. And so what has that all meant to you to see where you are right here, 2021, as an established, really like a legend, brother. You are truly a legend, what you've done in this, and this is not about age, it's about all that you've packed in your career, how you've impacted the world with your music. What does that all mean to you? Because to start out playing bass with the Winers, who was also BBCC, the Winers Group. I
Yep.
go way back to all of those great, Tremaine Hawkins, the Hawkins singers, and on and on and on. Vanessa Bell Armstrong, Margaret Bell. I used to get lit to Margaret Bell before people was like, "Who is Margaret Bell?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Vanessa's sister. She can sing."
Yeah.
So many great gospel pioneers. But man, what you have done has been incredible. What does that lie in your spirit and in your heart with all the things that God is taking you through your career?
The Bible talks about a um, an owner of a vineyard or an owner of a financial establishment that gave um, his workers. He gave one 5 talents, and he gave one 2 talents, and gave one one. And the one with 5 talents, he turned it into 10. The one that did 2 talents doubled his, and
Mm-hmm.
the one that had 1 buried his and didn't do anything with it.
Mm.
I like to think that I was one of those that maybe started out with 2 talents and I doubled it. And then God could trust me to double that and to double
Mm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It started from I'm grateful for the call. I'm just grateful for the call. And it's people say they humble,
Mm-hmm.
and they just, they say it like, I just want to be the humble servant of the Lord, and all this stuff.
Right,
But
right.
at the end of the day, I really took a humble road to get here. And what I mean by that is this is I was turned down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was kicked off of a lot of things in my early stages. I never got bitter. I always believed that that I would do something. I get knocked off a horse. I get kicked off of a recording. I would get kicked off of out of a group, or not put in a. I would get passed over, and it would hurt. But it never hurt me enough to say, I'm not going to get back in line. I'm not going to get back in line.
Mm-hmm.
And by keeping on getting in line, a lot of people lose their place because once they have a few discouragements and a few knockdowns and a few letdowns, that's it.
Mm.
And they just go away, they walk away from it, and their dreams will die with them. And I've never been that dude. Even now I've been in filmmaking for about 20 years. Nobody really knows it,
Mm. Wow.
because I've really been studying it.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, when I'm doing independent films for myself and for my own little company,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not getting the knocks by Tyler's not reaching out to me, or Netflix is not reaching out, and a lot of times it's discouraging because I'm spending the money. But I remember the days when I didn't have a record deal, and we would knock on doors and ask people to, friends and family, would they loan us $100, $200, $300 to go in the studio to make a commission record, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody even knew how y'all gonna do it, how y'all gonna make it. But I had that tenacity, and then the reality to say, maybe the big stage ain't gonna necessarily be for me, but what I can do, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my part. So that's been the blessing of this whole thing. And then I watched God promote because I took that posture. I watched him promote, and that's key, man.
That's awesome. So, what is next for you?
Oh man, I'm still doing records here and there. I'm doing it for fun. I got another record that I'm doing that kind of talks to the times,
Mm.
and I'm calling on all my cousins. When I talk about my cousin, I'm talking about my cousin from the other side of the track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm calling for Rick Ross
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Snoop and all of them, because we have to come together and say, okay, forget about religious ideology. We got to unify and give a positive message to young people and to people all over that God is still able to do this, and a lot of them will come on. But mostly I'm dealing with film.
Awesome.
I'm dealing with film, and I'm doing I have a workshop here in Dallas where I take young actors and we do this virtual play that comes out. I'm putting another one out, and it's called Surviving Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a family that I have. So I'm doing virtual plays and virtual and doing this film thing that I'm working on. I'm not giving up on it, but it's just one of them things that I have to do to get the message out. The gospel must be seen, and I'm a different dude. My films are not as, how you say, neat, like good gospel Christian church films where
Mm-hmm.
everybody is, oh, praise the Lord, we gonna do
Mm-hmm.
it. No, 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 no. The film I have now that I'm about to put out on YouTube is called The Choir, and it's basically Greenleaf meets Empire meets Power.
Mm. Wow.
And it's real life accounts of things that I've
Mm-hmm.
seen and heard and been a part of and watched, and but to see where God is, and so that's how God comes through in the worst times to help us out, and how some of us make it and some of us don't. But it's a very realistic piece,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been working on it for 3 years. Uh, Ups and downs, ins and outs, doesn't even matter, man. I'm tenacious,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to get the word that God has for me to get out. So that's next. And then when the country open back up again, hope to get out on the road and do what we do, you know. So
that's awesome, man. So do you have your own production company that produces the films?
absolutely do.
Can you share that with
I own
us?
my own gear. I own my own cameras,
Oh, that's awesome.
film trucks. You know, I have my own, you know, everything, the wherewithal to do it. I write it, I direct it. I have great DPs. I make great relationships.
That's
And
awesome.
people can get ready to see that on my Facebook Live. And probably this week, I'm gonna start introducing scenes, digisodes. I'm gonna release an episode a week. And it's really a series, but the first show itself is going to be, you know, downloaded in bits and pieces, so people can get it, you know.
Gotcha. I definitely wanted to bring us back around to film, because it seems that that's an opening there, and if you've got something we need to be looking at, we need to know about it. Again, Fred Hammond will be appearing tomorrow. It is the 2021 inaugural gospel celebration. It's premiering at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Please, if you want to purchase tickets, it's www.the2021igc.org. Go get your tickets. It's going to be a phenomenal show. Mr. Hammond,
I think
thank
you're
you.
gonna love it too, because I believe Marvin Sapp is on it.
Yes.
Andrew Johnson, Jonathan McReynolds, Todd Tribbett, Dietrich Haddon, and so much more. Anthony Anderson is hosting. It's a big show.
Yeah, it's a big show. Huge, big show, and it's for this inauguration. So I can't wait to be front and center. I'm going to be right there tomorrow watching, and we want to make sure we get this out there to everybody so that they watch it. Brother, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Blessing, man. Do well and be blessed.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next time. Everybody, thank you for joining us right here with Mr. Fred Hammond, my guy. You guys know him, and thank you for tuning in for us. Make sure you subscribe and download all of our new media. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
All right.